Part 1. Music. Present day, 10 years later. Darkness surrounds me. I am alone yet comforted with myself. This is what I want. This is what I am meant to be. My heart pounds to the promise of music. Once, this darkness scared me. I felt tormented with its blinding potential. My young mind used to recreate the creatures from stories and frighten me with them. I found out how real they were. Yet here I stand in quiet anticipation. My confidence and self-assurance are new. I was ready for this. My body aches with the thought of what was to come. I catch the distant noise of a crowd and the excited yelps. I smile to myself as the drums start their warm-up. Almost time. My fingers begin to twitch as the piano joins the drums, swallowing the noise of the crowd. Soon I am to be there, to be where I belong, where I was born to be. My legs taller now, judder in anticipation. It takes all my will not to move too soon. I open my eyes and register the darkness around me. My heart pounds harder, not with fear, but with excitement, a contrast to my past. The electric twang of the guitar tears through the current melody, escalating to a new level. My breathing comes harder as the music rides through the pleasant wave of song. Almost there. I take a deep breath, my voice ready and eager after my warm-up. My magic swells within me, threatening to burst through my chest. My hands fist as I feel the upcoming moment. It is here. The music stops, swamping the stadium into silence. This is my cue. I jolt and run onto the stage, elated it has finally come. Screams in the crowd pick up as the first few see me emerge. The lights blind me as the roar of the crowd shatters the silence. As the initial excitement dies down, the instruments begin. I hear the climbing melody luring my voice free. Ignoring the will to unleash my voice all at once, I let the music draw it out teasingly. My magic, a soothing caress of assurance. Soon, the crowd is overtaken by the music and surrounds the stadium. The song kicks into full power and I unleash my spirit, my will, and everything I am. Like a siren, my voice pulls others into the music. Together, our energy dances and the magic is unleashed. The audience is dark, but I see them well enough to acknowledge the mix of species. My heart swells with appreciation at the size. Never before have fae and dark creatures alike joined together to listen and celebrate music. My music, the music I was born to create. Together, my band of vampires and I, a fairy, have created a symbiosis of music genres. With instruments, chords, and beats classically of vampiric style, combined with my voice of the fae, these powers create an energy, a magic that has never been seen. Everyone present witnesses it. A power, a connection that resonates in every being. My microphone is a scepter and I rule their hearts. I sing my words in perfect melody, spinning tales with the frequencies. Everyone is singing, dancing, or joining in their own way. I look around and my musicians are enjoying it as much as I am. Like me, they are in awe of this power, this connection, and together we take them on a journey. A world between the fantasy of fairy tales and the passionate romance of vampirism. Reluctantly, I return to my reality by the end of the concert. This is never smooth or subtle. I walk back off the stage, buzzing and oozing with magic and energy. We all smile at each other and congratulate ourselves on another success. As I embrace them, I see their fangs in their smiles. Smaller than I thought as a failing and much less intimidating in person. The vampires in the old tales were terrifying monsters, and I swoon at the idea that I am close friends with these creatures now. How distant they seem to me as a young fairy, a creature lurking in the shadows on the other side of my nightmares. I am happy to find that they are actually quite pleasant to be around now. But not all vampires are the same. This was my painful lesson. I walk past the studio rooms and I catch a couple feeding off each other, an intimate act that I feel guilty to have witnessed in that moment. As I walk on, feeling the blood rush to my face, my hand carefully goes to my own neck as I remember my dark past. Seeing this act a year ago would have undone me. Such foul memories lie beneath the surface of this part of my life, which I must squash down. It is over now. I am not the innocent failing any more. A flash of red from their eyes reminds me of my own personal villain, a deathly snap of his sharp fangs. I withhold a shudder, keeping my memories from overwhelming me. I yelp as I hit a hard chest. The family scent envelopes me suddenly, and I calm in relief. God, sorry, brother. I guess I was daydreaming again. Yes, you have always done that, particularly after singing. In fact, many struggle to bring you back to the ground. He chuckles light-heartedly, his voice pleasantly warm. Oh, how much like my father he is. His presence is so comforting, though we are both fairy males born in the same lands, we differ in looks completely. Where I am shorter and light in stature, with dark hair, he is strongly built, tall and fair in complexion. His eyes are warm brown, contrast to my own pale green. Rollo is my elder brother, and my only sibling. A practical and down-to-earth male with unrelenting loyalty to anything he cares about. Though we look different, we share the same love for music. His own reflects a more organic, folk, fairy style that is hard not to love. He gives me the sense of homely warmth and familiarity that I strive to express in my own music. Unlike mine, his music is not tainted by the darkness. The darkness is powerless against his light, and that is something I know I will never achieve myself. I am too immersed, too far into its grips, made anew from my past, and I'm okay with that. Élan, are you sure you're okay? You haven't been listening to a word I've said, have you? He asks incredulously, his fairy district twang coming through. I love it. It reminds me of home. Sorry, I'm fine. What did you say? I ask, my voice not showing any sign of waning from the giant performance I'd just done. I said I came back here because I was worried. There is word that he is here. He is either here or nearby. I don't like it. He shouldn't be coming and bothering you straight after a performance. Rollo grumbles, his handsome face crumpled in irritation. I smile sadly at his concern, appreciating his frustration. It was impossible to stop him coming if he wanted to be here. He is nearby. I can feel him. Worry not, dear brother, for when you are me, he is always nearby, I replied, patting him in thanks. He sighs sadly. It's not right, you know. You need to be your own self. You're old enough now, brother, to be without his darned presence. It's not right, you know. You need to be your own self. You're old enough now, brother, to be without his darned presence, he grumbles, standing aside to let me walk ahead. I snigger at his words. I admire his boldness, and I wish I had the same growing up. Perhaps then things wouldn't have happened as they did. Dear brother, offending him will only force his grip on me to tighten. I endure him because I am his. I am his at least until this spring, I replied casually. His protectiveness towards me is a comfort. I am lucky to have a brother like him. Growing up, we were close up until my 8th year. For reasons you will soon learn, I moved away and no longer saw him as often. I missed him greatly, and always wondered, if I grew up with more of his influence, how would I differ now? But there is no use pondering these meaningless thoughts. What happened, happened, and as my 18th birthday arrives, I intend to see him as much as I did as a failing. I assure my brother that I'm fine, and we eventually separate. I arrive to my studio room. The scent of lavender hits and relaxes me, the flower of my homeland. I smile knowing my mother left them for me. I admire their presence on my table and feel the buzz in me begin to fade. A shadow catches my eye, but I don't react, not anymore. I feel the presence but say nothing, knowing it is no use. I pick up a different energetic buzz and tilt my head slightly. A flicker draws my eye and I look before I can stop myself. Next to the pot of lavender sits a gold coin. The gold coin, his mark. Now that my eye has caught it, I struggle to draw my gaze away from it, staring at it forebodingly. It is at this same moment that I realise how quiet it is. I can't pick anything up from outside my room, which is strange. I feel no magic, yet I am not naive anymore to his tricks. I turn quickly and take my clothes to the joined bathroom and change out of my costume. I dressed hastily, feeling as though I'm being watched, and walk to leave the studio without looking back. I grab the doorknob and freeze when a voice stops me. Are you not going to take my gift? The voice gloats with dark humour. Slowly I release the door handle and turn. I fix my gaze on the floor in front of me. I am sorry, but I cannot accept it, I reply tonelessly. He clicks his tongue. Such a way to address your grandfather. Where's the warmth that was on that stage? Not good. No, this won't do. I have missed you, dear one. Come forward. I let the magic pull me to the mirror above the table. I let the magic pull me to the mirror above the table. Invisible strings tugging me closer, putting me in place. The magic leaves a sharp taste on my tongue like having just bitten a raspberry. I reluctantly meet the gaze of the figure now behind me in the mirror, knowing who stares back. My grandfather, dear foe. Don't be fooled by the title. He defies the meaning of the kind elderly figure who nurtures and treats you. This fairy, or being, I should say, is all tricks, all magic and cleverness. Many of the Fae look up to him, a creature of power that is one of the few that remain as the last of the old and magical. No one really knows his age, but he is known throughout the lands. His power and ability to manipulate the most innocent of reason. He is also what you would call a villain. A creature that survives on his own needs and pleasure. He enjoys using others like a grand puppeteer. He enjoys using others like a grand puppet master of the Fae realm and watches lives play out like the director of a film. He enjoys using others like a grand puppet master of the Fae realm and watches their lives play out like a director of a film. This we all know and hear, yet I cannot hate him. Oh, how I would love to. He who has done so much to me and my family, his own flesh and blood. He who has let danger and despair befall us without using his own power to help. Yes, there are things I disagree with. I cannot condone many of his actions, if any, but he is part of me. Whether it is biological or goes further, I dare not find out. All I know is that I simply cannot hate him or wish him ill. The curious failing within me is still in the darkness and watches him with fascination. Watches for his next move and what he will do. I see him now before me in his mystical glory. Not many have seen him and believe it is looks that reflects his terrible personality. I see him now before me in his mystical glory. Not many have seen him and believe that if his looks reflected his terrible personality, then he would be the worst kind of demon. But he is simply mystifying. His hair, a dirty mop of once brown but now grey with dust. His skin I find most fascinating, with a greenish tinge, freckled with a glitter-like substance that sparkles like scales. People whisper of this being, of his close lineage to the mer in the sea, a rumour he likes to redirect back to me for my talent in my voice, a siren's voice. Although my brother sneers and says he just doesn't wash properly. My eyes meet his and I feel the hold that I always do in his gaze. His eyes are glowing yellow that will remind you of the blazing sun as it descends beyond the horizon. Death's eyes. In the light of the room, his pupils are small pinpoints that hold me in place. I look nothing like him, which makes me wonder where my looks come from. He insists I resemble my grandmother, a young male version of her. She passed long before I was born, but without seeing images of her likeness, I struggle to believe him. He is dressed in his normal attire, a neutral shade of brown on his shirt with a vest of dull scales that he said is from a dragon he had slain in his youth. Dragons have been long extinct, so either his age is beyond what anyone can know, or he is lying. Dragons have been long extinct, so either his age is beyond anyone. Dragons have been long extinct, so either his age is beyond what anyone can know, or he is lying. The latter is most believable. Even for someone who cares for him like I do, I know that I would be a fool to believe his words. I trusted him once. I've come to regret that. He taps his long, dirty nails impatiently. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. You startled me and I didn't want to take your gold, I reply, sounding younger than I am. He grins, showing his sharp, pointed yellow teeth, a grin I like to think is He grins, showing his sharp, pointed yellow teeth. A grin I like to think is of endearment, but then I have seen him pull the same face when looking at a corpse. Yes, yes, good boy, always my good boy, clever, oh so clever like me. You know better than to take my gold. For having my gold comes at a price, doesn't it, dear one? He replies, his voice gravelly and in his sing-song way. His accent is so unlike ours, more articulate and harder to place. What do you need of me? I ask innocently, as I take note of his good mood, something that could be good or equally bad for me. Ah, but I am here to congratulate you, my boy, on another wonderful performance, bewitching creatures alike. It was particularly enjoyable watching those stupid vampires slobber all over such talented magic. He sniggers, something he does more than he talks. I smile, generally happy he liked it. The part of me that is still failing is relieved to hear this. I'm glad you are pleased, grandfather. I owe it to you for this inspiration, I reply. I'm getting better at lying to him and it scares me. It scares me as it feels like that in doing so, I am becoming like him. I am honest in almost everything, but lying to him seems to make it easier. He sniggers again, which has a self-gratifying ring to it. He looks at me knowingly. You know it, boy. Together we will unleash our magic upon the world. Those creatures adore you, and soon everyone will. You are my star. He sighs happily. I smile and swallow down how much my heart rises to his praise. I remind myself it is all lies. A knock at the door startles me. Ugh, it's that blasted oaf brother of yours, Deerful growls. 1 minute, I'm nearly ready, Rolo, I call. I turn back to find his face hard in thought. I remain silent, knowing better than to disrupt his thinking. As the silence draws out, I resist turning away, even though his expression makes my skin crawl. If I pull my attention away, he will surely punish me. What will you do after spring? He asks softly, sounding almost sad. His question catches me off guard. For a moment, I try to put together an answer. What will I do? Continue my music, of course. Why would that change? I ask, surprised and not knowing where he is going with this. Yes, spring marked my 18th year and freedom from him, but that didn't stop my love for music and my band. For whatever reason, I didn't like where this was going. I know him well enough to know that this is a touchy subject. He nods slowly, taking in my answer, his gaze frozen in thought. Let's hope so. God knows you don't owe me anything, not anymore, he says, again his voice soft. It puts me on edge as I realise it's regret that he feels. Regret for what happened to me. I'm amazed knowing very few, if anyone, has seen the side of him. A side that teased me into believing that he had a heart, a soul, something that connects us to our family more than he lets on. Suddenly, I remember Rolo is waiting for me and my heart races. The worst thing now would be for Rolo to barge in. Deerfol would inflict his rage for disturbing our tender moment. As if reading my thoughts, Deerfol narrows his gaze at the door. At least that oath is still of use to us, to you. He will protect you while I am unable to, he growls, as if that fact disgusts him. He will, but I do miss you, grandfather, I reply, half meaning it. In reality, I've enjoyed the new freedoms that led to my independence. Not to worry, dear one. I will certainly be with you again before the time is out, he answers, returning to his devilish self. I nod, smiling in my most charming way as if I was on stage once more. Then I will see you soon? I ask, relieved that he is showing more of himself. Sooner than you think, little devil, for I know you look forward to your freedom. Don't even try to deny it. Who wouldn't? For I am not some stupid creature, no sir. Do you think I hold all this responsibility, this amount of soul and respect, from being a dumb creature? No. I am the great Deerfold, and even when your life is yours again, I will still remain in your shadow. Do you understand, boy? He asks in his ranting way, his voice raised. I swallow heavily, worried over his words, his sudden ill mood, and the fact that my brother may have heard him and come in at any moment. Yes, grandfather, I know, worry not. I will never forget who I am, why I am here, or what I am, I reply, my mind pulling the words from what I know would please him. It has its effect, and I panic, wondering if I am spinning a spell of my own. Oh, dear one, you have no idea what you're capable of. You are my greatest, this I know. Just like your mother, you have outdone yourself and strive to be the best, and like her, you will remain with me even after our time is up. Mark my words, he says, his voice fading, his image losing its opacity. I am haunted by his words, and I nod, too scared to say the wrong thing. As he fades, the last piece of remaining is his glowing eyes and grinning shark smile. I pull away when it completely goes, knowing if I did it too soon, I would regret it when we next meet. I feel his magic tugging at me, pulling my soul as if it wants to take me with him through the mirror. It is not painful, but rather uncomfortable, and leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I run and open the door to Rolo with his arms crossed. Sorry, I began. No need. I know better than to disturb your precious reunion. We need to go, he says shortly, already turning to leave. My heart sinks at his disappointment in me. As I follow him, I shiver at the memory of my grandfather's words. The hidden truths in them, the mystery yet to be known. Family issues is an understatement.